Hello everybody and welcome back to another episode of The Buzz About the Bard. Today we will be discussing one of Shakespeare's earlier works, The Taming of the Shrew. This comedy focuses on the marriage of Katharina, a fiery young woman who constantly defies the norms of society, and Petruchio, her new groom who tries to mellow her rowdy nature using torturous tactics. The real question we are left to ponder by the end is, was Petruchio successful in taming Katharina? Well, in short, there really is no correct answer. But to try to make sense of this, we can look to the second half of Act 4, Scene 3. In this scene, Katharina is presented with a dress that Petruchio refuses her, so they go to visit Baptista, Catherine's father, still in their dirty wedding clothes. This scene may seem like it's only a small part of Petruchio's plan, but it's actually crucial in interpreting the plan's outcome. By reading the text alone, it's difficult to truly determine Katharina's mindset, but what's so special about this play is that it's really up to the performance and the choices the actors and directors make to influence their audience. To demonstrate this, I'm going to read parts of this scene in two different ways, which should leave you all with two completely different answers to this question. When I'm reading this first interpretation, pay close attention to the tone of how Katharina is speaking and what actually happens to the dress. Katharina: Love me or love me not, I like the cap, and it I will have or I will have none. Petruchio: Thy gown? Why, come, tailor, let us see't. Oh, mercy God, what masking stuff is here! He goes on to complain about every little detail of the dress. Hortensio: I see she's like to have neither cap nor gown. Tailor: You bid me make it orderly and well, according to the fashion and the time. Petruchio: Marry, and did, but if you be remembered, go, hop me over every kennel home, for you shall hop without my custom, sir. I'll none of it. Hence, make your best of it. Katharina: I never saw a better fashioned gown, more quaint, more pleasing, nor more commendable. Belike you mean to make a puppet of me? Petruchio: Why, true, he means to make a puppet of thee. Tailor: She says your worship means to make a puppet of her. Petruchio angrily insults the tailor for insulting him. Tailor: Your worship is deceived. The gown is made just as my master had direction. Grumio gave order of how it should be done. Grumio defends himself by saying how he merely gave the tailor's master the request and the materials, hoping to not be blamed by Petruchio for how awful he says the dress is. Grumio: Master, if I ever said loose-bodied gown, sew me in the skirts of it, and beat me to death with a bottom of brown thread. I said a gown. The tailor continues to read the bill describing the dress, and Petruchio finds the cut of the sleeves to be Grumio's fault, but Grumio fights this, claiming the bill is really what's at fault. Petruchio: Well, sir, in brief, the gown is not for me. Grumio: You are right, the right, sir. 'Tis for my mistress. Petruchio: Go, take it up unto thy master's use. Grumio: Villain, not for thy life. Take up my mistress's gown for thy master's use? Petruchio: Why, sir, what's your conceit in that? Grumio: Oh, sir, the conceit is deeper than you think for. Take up my mistress's gown to his master's use? Oh, fie, fie, fie! Petruchio: Hortensio, say thou wilt see the tailor paid. Go, take it hence, be gone, and say no more. Hortensio: Tailor, I'll pay thee for thy gown tomorrow. Take no unkindness of his hasty words. Away, I say, commend me to thy master. Petruchio: Well, come, my Kate, we will unto your father's. Even in these honest mean habiliments, our purses shall be proud, our garments poor. For 'tis the mind that makes the body rich. And as the sun breaks through the darkest clouds, so honor breathe in the meanest habit. Let's revisit the question of whether or not Katharina was tamed once again, this time with a performance to aid you. Thinking about Katharina in the beginning, with her rebellious tone and attitude, we can see that in this version, that spunk carries through, particularly in the first line, where she says, Love me or love me not, I like the cap, and it I will have. She continues to fight for Petruchio just as she was on her wedding day when the taming started. In Act 3, Scene 2, Katharina tells Petruchio that if he loves her, he'll stay, similarly to how she tells him that he'll give her the hat if he loves her. Although both of these attempts ultimately end up failing, Katharina still puts up the same fight as she always does when any injustice comes her way. The tailor admits that the dress was made to fit the fashion and the time, so Katharina is quick to angrily call him out for making her into a puppet just as she suspects Petruchio of doing. As an audience, we can see that Katharina has not changed much from the beginning, so Petruchio evidently catches on to this as well. He continues to try harder to humble her by making such an effort to hire and pay a tailor to make a dress for her just to take it away. On the bill for the dress, Grumio requested a loose-bodied gown, which could be interpreted as a dress for a loose woman. When looking up the definition of loose, you'll find that loose can mean uncontrolled, So although Grumio is definitely with Petruchio on the taming plan, Katharina is not controlled by Petruchio, in Grumio's mind. At the end of the scene, Petruchio drops some hints to Katharina to let her know how to get things she wants by telling her that obedience will bring her honor and rewards, more evidence that he knows she is not yet tamed. Now notice the change when I read some of the same lines with a different tone. Katharina, love me or love me not. I like the cap, and it I will have or I will have none. Katharina, I never saw a better fashion gown, more quaint, more pleasing, nor more commendable. But like you mean to make a puppet of me? Tailor, your worship is deceived. The gown is made just as my master had direction. Grumio gave order of how it should be done. Grumio, you are right, sir. 'Tis for my mistress. Petruchio, go, take it upon thy master's use. Grumio, villain, not for thy life. Take up my mistress's gown for thy master's use? Petruchio, why, sir, what's your conceit in that? Grumio, oh, sir, the conceit is deeper than you think for. Take up my mistress's gown to his master's use? Oh, fie, fie, fie! Petruchio, well, come, my Kate, we will unto your father's. Even in these honest mean habiliments, our purses shall be proud, our garments poor, for 'tis the mind that makes the body rich. And as the sun breaks through the darkest clouds, so honor perith in the meanest habit. Already from the first line, you can hear a huge change in Katharina's tone. The defeat in her voice when begging for that hat sounds like it's the last of the fight she has left in her. Her saying she will have the hat or she will have none makes it seem like this truly is the last of the Katharina from the very beginning of the play that she has left to give. Katharina's second line, accusing the tailor of making her into a puppet, is very similar to the first, where it's quite evident that she is losing herself to Petruchio's taming. She no longer cares about everyone trying to make her fit into society, but only for the dress itself. When Petruchio insults the tailor responds by saying, your worship is deceived. In this interpretation, some might latch on to the second meaning of worship as in marriage, and think the tailor is commenting on their marriage, saying it's toxic and manipulative. Enough so to change Katharina entirely. When Grumio hears that Petruchio decided to return the dress, he, in a way, switches to Katharina's side and defends her, since he finds that Petruchio is just being cruel at this point. She has been tamed, and Petruchio was continuing to withhold things from her, which Grumio thought to be unfair. As Petruchio notices how Katharina doesn't speak for the rest of the scene, even when her dress is being taken from her, he goes on to congratulate her and her newfound obedient mindset, saying it makes her honorable despite the ridiculous clothes she has on right now. You all might be wondering why this scene is so important to the play, but your interpretation of this one scene will most likely determine your interpretation of important scenes later on. Act 4, Scene 4, where Katharina and Petruchio are arguing about the sun and the moon, could be interpreted as Katharina still being her sarcastic self while learning to play the system and giving Petruchio a taste of his own medicine, or Katharina being very defeated and just going along with whatever Petruchio says, surviving rather than fighting. Similarly, in the final scene of the play, Petruchio makes a bet where all of the men's wives must come to them at their calling, and Katharina is the only one who comes. She then lectures the other wives about obedience and the honor they bring their husbands as their wives. The interpretation you leave Act 4, Scene 3 with, especially Petruchio's last line about obedience and honor of wives, determines your understanding of the last scene and the play as a whole. Was Katharina sincere about being an obedient wife, or had she truly mastered the system, now fooling Petruchio and even perhaps some of the audience members? So, was Katharina actually tamed by the end of the show? Well, as Elizabeth Smith said, there is no correct retelling of the play. We believe what we want to happen. Well, that's all for tonight's episode of Buzz About the Bard. Thanks for tuning in, and keep a falcon's eye out for next week's episode.